Okay, it says we're live. So I guess we're live. Okay. So it's on you, Rick. Rick Sellers should be here in a couple minutes, guys. I'm hoping that everything works out. But as I was talking earlier about finances, it's very important to not only understand finances, but understand how it works in everybody's life. You help your kids, help your family, help your wife, help people around you, help your, aunts, cousins, everybody around you that you can. I mean, we can't be for everybody, but we can sure try. And you can't give from an empty cup. Just can't. Let's see. Rick here. Rick, I don't see you yet. Let me know, Rick. Oh, Rick's here. Okay, let's let Rick in. Okay, Rick, you are here.
Got it.
I got you, Rick.
Hey, how are you?
I can hardly hear you, though. Can you?
Okay, I did it on my iPad as opposed to my, hang on one second.
Whatever works. I can't see you either.
Okay, I'm not sure why it's because I'm on the iPad. Let me try it one more time through the laptop and see if I can get it to do. The host has asked you to start your video. Okay.
There you go. All right, we got you, brother.
Okay, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you. Yeah, welcome. We're also live on Facebook in case anybody wants to do comments, or if they want to hire your services, because
Sure.
I'm all about businesses. So Rick, we've been friends a little bit of time, and how did you get started in voiceovers?
Okay, I was a commercial artist, and for probably about 12 years, I did a lot of work with American Greetings. And oftentimes I would be called to work in-house. So I would go in, I would be given a desk, I would work drawing, creating toy concepts, all kinds of fun stuff. And while I would work, I would do some crazy voices. A couple of times the head honchos would hear me and they'd walk over and go, who's doing, who are you? And then I would tell them and they would say, wow, that's amazing. And eventually they had some videos that they put together of toy concepts that they were pitching to other toy companies like Hasbro and Mattel.
Oh, yeah.
And they said, would you do the voiceover for it? Do it in a crazy character voice. And I said, sure. How much does it pay? And they said, this much. And I went, woohoo, I'm doing it. So yeah, that was kind of how I began. And then I cut a demo. I went into a studio way back in like 1989, and I cut my very first character voice demo. And I began sending that out to advertising agencies in Cleveland and Pittsburgh and Columbus, and I started getting work. And I had recently cut, around 1998, I had recently cut a brand new character voice demo, cartoon stuff, and I had sent it to Sapeman and Richards, who was an advertising agency in Beechwood, Ohio, and they recently had gotten the campaign for the General. So the General car insurance, for the best car insurance rates in town. Yeah. And I came in and they said, we heard your demo. You're awesome. Can you do Yosemite Sam? And I went, oh, you dead bird, you loot. And they went, all right, you're hired. Here's a contract. We want you to do 3 radio spots, 2 television spots, and you have to sing the jingle. Well, back in 1998, I had never sung professionally. Okay. So I was in the studio. I think George Sipple was a local composer who created the jingle, and everybody was there. I was there. George was there. People from the General were there. People from Sapeman and Richards were there, and they were all waiting for me to begin to sing. And the engineer hit the button, and the music began to play, and I didn't know where to come in. So I stood there, and he looked very frustrated. He's like, "Why aren't you starting?" And I'm like, I don't know when to start. And finally, I came up with an idea. I said, when it's time for me to sing, just hit the button, play the music. When it's time for me to sing, point at me. And that's what he did. So George hit the button, the music began to play. He pointed at me, and I began doing my thing. And for the best car insurance rates in town, call 1-800-GENERAL now.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
And,
and so
and everybody know, and what's funny is we were, me and my friend were just talking about this because he's a voiceover guy too, but he's also somebody that's around my age. And he said, "Do you remember them commercials?" And I'm like, "Yes." Not the commercial you're talking about, but the commercials back in the 60s and 70s that nobody from the 80s or 90s would know, but we know them and we still remember them. That's how powerful these ads are.
yeah, well, jingles have been around for since the beginning of commercial advertising, and there's a reason. Jingles and mascots have been around because they work. It sort of ingrains itself in the viewer or listener's brain, and then they remember it. So people that say mascots are dead, I would say you are very wrong, and that jingles are going to be alive and well for a very long time. So yeah, it's one of those deals where, and everything changes kind of politically, things come and go, the culture shifts and changes. And when that happens, there's big dips and waves, and, the pendulum goes one way and then it swings back the other way. So, it's always in motion, ever changing. If you are a student of television commercials, who would be? I am, because it's my business. So I need to know who's being hired,
Right.
who's getting booked, male, female, ethnicity, and then all that plays into how you kind of market yourself. So it's it's like being on a surfboard. You have to get your balance and figure
Yeah.
out where the
Yeah.
wave is going to hit. But yeah, I love doing it. I've been doing it for about 25 years. So um, I do a lot of stuff for American Greetings still. They have a whole line of audio greeting cards and online cards where they'll have a little animation, or the audio greeting cards are actually a paper card with a tiny speaker in it and a little audio chip. And they can record voices onto that. They can record music or a combination of all that sound effects. And probably since around 2005, I've been doing those cards. So I've done thousands of audio cards where you're hearing a singing seal or a talking polar bear or Santa Claus or a leprechaun or what have you. And the same thing with the online stuff. The online stuff is more like a little short, either live video with a voiceover, or it could be an animated spot. So it's a little card singing happy birthday, or it could be a joke, or it could be happy promotion day or what have you. But all that stuff works. And I also do a lot of work with Hasbro toys. They have a whole line of electronic talking toys. And when they were doing the Transformers films, they needed to have somebody that could imitate all the guys from the movie. So Peter Cullen is the voice of Optimus Prime. They said, "Can you do Peter Cullen?" And I said, "Yeah." And so they had me initially do the voice of the talking electronic Optimus Prime toy. So I'd go into the booth and do my thing and be Autobots transform and roll out. And those were a lot of fun. And then eventually I got to do Bumblebee and all the various characters from the Transformers franchise and the Star Wars line too. They had the license to do the talking electronic toys for Star Wars, the prequels. So I got to do the voice of Obi-Wan Kenobi, the young Obi-Wan, not Alec Guinness Obi-Wan, but Ewan McGregor, and Jango Fett, the evil bounty hunter. So I got to do both those toys as well. And I've probably done more than 100 toys, about 100 kids audiobooks, and the general campaign for about 20 years. And so I've been very fortunate. It's a difficult field to kind of navigate and break into, but once you do and become established, then you can make money.
You know what's funny is it's and you understand this, and a lot of people don't understand this who's not in the business, but when they phase things in, they think they phase them in all 50 states at the same time. That's not exactly true. That's why a lot of people from other states are like, "What are you talking about? We've never heard of this." Or now they heard of it, maybe like within the last year or so, because the state had to agree to the insurance company or whatever, and then all the legal stuff. And then after that, then they can start running the promos, but it's just not run like, right away. It's run locally wherever you are, but even on Roku, it's set up the same way. Roger Bumpus, the one that does Squidward,
Yeah.
he told me once, because I'm friends with him, he told me once when he went and started doing Squidward, he just did himself. He didn't even
Yeah.
go, you sometimes do that. You just go in and just do your own voice, and hey, that's the voice that worked.
Only in commercial advertising, if I'm doing a regular kind of guy voice, I'll use my voice. But otherwise, if I'm asked to do, I do a lot of license stuff where they have to, for example, like SpongeBob. If they have a toy or an audiobook and they want a SpongeBob voice and they can't afford to pay Tom Kenny, who is the voice of SpongeBob,
Right.
they'll call a guy like me that can do it. So I'll go into the booth and do my thing, you know. Oh, Squidward, I can't remember how to make the Krabby Patties. Patrick, what are we going to do? So, yeah, it's a lot of fun. And all that stuff has to be approved by whoever owns the license for that product. So
Right.
sometimes they'll be very stringent and say, no, nobody else can do it except for this guy or that guy. Or they may have an approved person that does it, and that guy's got the gig. So I was that way with Hasbro for many, many years. I was the official voice match for Peter Cullen. So nobody did it but me. That has changed since that time. Nowadays, they can't afford to get Peter Cullen to come in. But, you know, Peter is up in his, I would say 82-ish, 83.
Sure, sure.
He may not be interested in doing toys any longer. He might only want to do the films or maybe do an animated series or what have you. But, and I got to work with him at one point in time. He was out at Dave and Buster's in California at a recording studio. And I had about a 2-hour session with him where I had him record all the copy for upcoming Hasbro electronic toys for Optimus Prime, as well as all the toy fairs across the world, New York
Wow.
Toy Fair, Paris Toy Fair. And it was about a 2-hour script. He did not take one break. I didn't have to tell him, say one thing to him. The guy was a master of his craft and knew it. He'd been doing it since 1984. He officially was the original G1 Transformer voice of Optimus Prime. So I'm glad that he was able to make money doing the films later in life. That's very nice for him to go out on a high note. So it's cool.
Yeah, but you know what's funny is about you is you're so famous, yet you're infamous because you know when I ask people sometimes I say, hey, you know, I'd like to do a interview with you. You sometimes you don't get a response. You responded it that quick, said, yes, I can, we'll do it, done. I I happen to love people that just are so genuine and caring and just like, you know what? Why not? It's my career. It's what I do. I encourage all people in entertainment business from whatever aspect, from the promotion to production or whatever, to just be open to people in interviews like this, because this is going to set you up to so many other things. And I think you've seen that in your life, right? With you, with people that have reached out to you and said, hey, I saw you on an interview. I saw you here. I heard you here. There's got to be a somewhere they had to see and know you.
Oh, absolutely. I would say any opportunity you have to promote as a voice talent, do it. And I do a podcast called Talking Voiceovers. It's available on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your pod.
Mm-hmm.
And I interview top talent from across the country,
Nice.
and including voice actors, directors, casting directors, talent agencies, engineers, guys that develop technology for voice work. And oftentimes when I'm trying to get a guest, some of them are very open and they'll just say, sure, I'll be happy to do it. Other people don't respond, or, right, they're too busy or they're doing something else. I get it, but yes, I understand exactly what you're saying. It's always best to be open and friendly. I'm a very friendly person.
You are.
I'll help anybody. And if somebody's got an issue and they need some advice or some help, I'm always there to do that. And it's good karma for me. So I do it.
Well, again, it doesn't hurt. So if it doesn't hurt, what is the big deal?
Some people are busy and they don't want to take the time away to do a half-hour interview or what have you, but I have a lot of free time, so I'm more than
yeah, me too. I do as well.
So I have plenty of time to do it, and I enjoy talking to people and learning things and telling people what I do, and it's all good.
And by the way, we're both open for interviews. By the way, Rick is always open for interviews, and so am I. We're willing to talk about anything. I did a couple shows recently, and the promotions that were done weren't bad, but they could have been enhanced so much. What do you think sells the promotion the most? Is it the voice? Is it the background music? Is it a combination of both? Is it a special voice? What is it?
Well, are we talking about television promo? Like when you're doing, okay, I would say you've got to have a great voice for that. Promo in particular is very announcery still. And they're, depending upon the television show and the tone of the show, that'll be dependent on who you're going to hire. Whether you want, if it's a scary show, you want a guy with a nice deep voice. If it's a sports show, you want a guy that sounds like maybe an athlete or ex-coach or something. So it's all dependent upon what it's going to be used for. But yeah, you can learn to do promo. I teach promo. I mean, there's lots of stuff you can learn to do, and pay attention to television. That's your best sort of, listen to what's out there, what's being done. And then you'll get an idea of how to approach that. And it's a lot of fun and it's a lot of work. It's very frustrating sometimes. I know I read emails all the time from voice actors that they've been auditioning for years. They're not getting any work.
Right.
They find an agent. And a lot of times it is due to the fact that there's a lot of competition out there. The voiceover community, yeah, there are people that have been doing it for 40 years and never had a national spot. So it is very difficult. You've got to stick with it. You really have to learn your craft and be a good actor. More important than having a good voice is being able to act. If you can deliver that copy and make it sound like it's coming out of your brain and not written on a page and you're speaking it, that's part of what makes a good promo.
Well, yeah, and I'll add to that too is, and as we just said, be reachable. I mean, the reason why you're probably being hired for most of them is because number one, they know what they're going to get. They know you're a good guy. They know you're reasonable. They know you can reachable. They know that, you're not going to ask for tons and tons of money because you're just happy to do the part, but you also want the credibility. You also want everything with that. I think that's more important because that's going to get you to your next step, right?
I would agree. I think I tell my students and other people that I deal with all the time, don't be a problem, be a problem solver.
Right.
Be easy to work with, be friendly. People don't like to work with a jagged little pill. They like somebody that's going to come in, going to make them feel good, going to smile, get the job done, and be professional, And that doesn't mean you can't make them laugh and be fun, but you've got, at the end of the day, you've got to deliver that copy the way they want. And, the more reps you have, the better you get. The more you do it, the better you become at it. And that's with everything,
That's that old saying, practice, practice, practice. Now, do you do practice some voices too as well in between? Like when you're getting ready to do a part, do you practice it or you just go in and
if voice I'm comfortable with and I know well, I don't have to practice it. But if I'm voice matching a character, like for example, let's say it's the Colonel from Kentucky Fried Chicken. Currently, Jim Meskimen is doing the voice of
we know Jim.
Colonel.
Yeah, we interview Jim. Jim's a great guy.
Yeah, good guy, top-notch impressionist. And he's been doing the Colonel for probably 3-4 years now, where he's, come on down to the Colonel and get yourself a bucket of chicken. Everybody loves Colonel's chicken. It's finger looking good. So, but those are iconic voices that everybody knows. I mean, the General is probably one of the best known commercial voices in advertising over the last 20 years. If I do that voice, everybody knows who it is. And my girlfriend enjoys going out to dinner and going, do you know who the General is? Do you ever see that little animated character? It's him. And then, of course, I have to do it. So I'm like, for the best car insurance, get me a table and I'm hungry. So, yes, it's a lot of fun.
Oh, I love that. I love that because you're just so open about it. Like I said, some people are afraid to it's their craft and you're afraid to promote yourself. It's like a singer that you reach out to a singer and say, hey, could you hum a few bars? Well, I'm not warmed up. I can't read. I understand that, but you're a singer. You're always supposed to be ready on cue to do something.
Well, that's the thing.
Right?
By nature, I'm an introvert. I like being alone. I like reading or like watching television. But when you're out and about and performing, you got to bring your A game and be, a bright shining star and do what you do. So making a point to shine when you're out in public, and especially in an interview, you want to be fun and friendly and make people happy and excited, and it's all good.
I appreciate that. That's all good. So tell me a little bit about your podcast. Who
Okay,
have you interviewed? Have you learned anything from the other people? I'm sure you did. And give us some tips about stuff.
okay. A lot of the casting directors are fun interviews because you get to really. One of the things I do besides voiceover is produce voiceover demos for the voiceover community. So I produce commercial demos, video game demos, radio imaging demos, all kinds of stuff for talent, not only in the United States, but in the world, people from New Zealand and Australia and Scotland, the whole bit. But yeah, I think the casting directors are interesting because those are the people that are potentially going to hire you. So it's fun to find out what kind of voices are they looking for? What kind of length of the demo do they want? Who are they hiring? Again, it's all about learning what's out there, who's making money, who's getting booked. And that information helps inform your decision as to how you kind of approach the marketing of it. So you got to be a good detective, go to websites, look for names, find emails. All that stuff is really important. Things that people don't want to do. And another big one is picking up the phone and being able to make a cold call. If you can learn to do that and be comfortable, that is a good talent to have. Because if you can make a connection with somebody, you have to be brief. Brevity is your friend always. But if you let them know, I'm a professional voice actor, I have a broadcast quality home studio, I can connect remotely, I'm familiar with your product, and I want to work for you. That's basically what it is. It's common sense stuff that your dad taught you when you were, 17, 18. That stuff still applies, even though today, people don't want to do that. But the harder you work, the more money you're going to make and the more work you're going to get. As far as the podcast, we've interviewed tons of people. Bob Bergen, who is the voice of Porky Pig, Jim Meskimen, Piat Michaels, just a ton. I mean, we probably have 40 episodes. They're all up now. We have a YouTube channel where you can find it, or you can go get it from Apple Podcasts or Podcast One. We have a Facebook page for the show as well. It's Talk and Voiceovers. So it's TALK at the letter N apostrophe voiceovers. And I do it with my partner, Wes McCraw, who is an audio engineer that I've worked with for about 25 years. We work hand in glove. So we have a good understanding of, what makes us laugh, what's fun, what to ask, that sort of thing. And as you do the interviews, you get better at it. So the more you do it, the better, more comfortable you are. And you learn to let the person you're interviewing shine. Let them tell you about what they do, where they're from, what they're interested in, what they enjoy about the business, what they don't like. All that information is good, especially for a young voice actor. If you want to learn the craft, I would say a couple of things. Take an improv class, because improv is going to help you. If you have that mental acuity to be able to jump from voice to voice, or if you're in a directed session, you're in your booth and the director is in California and he says, "You're not knocking me out. What else you got?" Then you better be able to pivot and bring something else to the table. So I'm always ready. I have a repertoire of little characters up in my brain, and I'm able to kind of summon them at will and shoot stuff out there until they get something where they go, "All right, awesome." And then I go, "Great." And then I do my thing.
Now that you're, yeah, getting it good.
Yeah. Tell me a little bit about you. I really don't know much.
Me,
Are you a radio person?
Yeah, well, I've been around the radio for about 30 years. And
Okay.
I ran this radio station. Hamilton Radio was another radio station back when it first started back in 96, 97. We've been around a long time.
Yeah.
And internet radio, be honest, was even heard of as
No,
it is
not back
now.
then.
And we knew it was going to grow because you could just see the growth getting bigger and better and bigger and better and bigger and better. So over a period of years, what I have done is assimilate so many different, like you, creating the inspiration for people to come in to do stuff like a local studio in Hamilton, in New Jersey here. So I have people come in, whether they're celebrities or not celebrities, they're still people that either need their information out there or want to talk about their career. I mean, a lot of celebrities do come, but it's few and far between. But when it happens, it's really special, and it's just nice to share. So what we do is, within that form of radio, is bring family-friendly radio to everybody all over the world. Since
Great.
then, and still. And people like you, Roger Bumpus, and a lot of other people. We had the guy from Doom on a couple years ago, and he was the voice of Doom and all the others. Great guy, by the way. But like you said, not everybody is going to want to give you an interview. Not everybody's going to want to talk to you. But what we always find out is, because we do what you do, you let people talk and just sit back and listen and try to, interview them based on what they say, rather than have a pre-qualified amount of questions to ask.
Yeah.
Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't.
I usually will do research on the person to find out what they're all about, what they've done, some of their past credits. But yeah, I like a free-flowing conversation. So I ask a question.
Well, it's a getting to know you type of thing, because again, here's the one problem with, I'll explain to you. Unless you go to the person's website, unless you go to exactly where they put their information, if you go to Wikipedia, there's times when I went to Wikipedia and I had an interview on a person here and I was saying what was on Wikipedia. They said, that's not true.
I've had that.
You feel like garbage. I'm saying, I'm sorry. That's what I got. And oh no, that's not true. So hear from the horse's mouth is always better.
Agreed. I will do that. And you're right. IMDb can be wrong, as well as Wiki.
Yep.
I've gotten wrong information. I've said, so you're in the new SpongeBob movie. And they'll go, no, I'm not in that. And we make a joke of it. We just kind of go, oh, well, the research department failed us, and that's me. So there you go. And then we move on to another question. You try to make it entertaining so it's fun for people to listen to. And yeah, we do a real clean podcast. There's no swearing, any of the bad stuff, because I want anybody to be able to listen to it and enjoy it.
There you go. See, you get it, Rick. A lot of entertainers, I hope they're listening and I hope they're watching. I have a lot of friends in entertainment as well, just like you, that for some reason, they either allow or they do the cursing. And I said, you're going to shut half of the people right off, right away. If they're listening to your podcast, to listen, to like it, and then they hear them words, and they're done. They're gone. They're never going to come back. Never going to come back. Yeah. I'd rather have them stay there, listen, be intrigued, be motivated, be influential, understand what you're talking about, and want to come back again.
Right. Well, I really want to inspire young people to be able to figure out, is this a career that you'd like to do? And I tell everybody, it's not a get rich quick scheme. You got to put your time in. You have to learn the craft. You have to get good at it. Be a good actor, because so many times I'll hear people, lots of times they'll come up and go, I've been told I have a great voice. And I'll say, well, you do have a pleasant voice, but it's really about, can you use your voice to sell a product or service? Can you make it compelling and interesting and fun? Can you remain in character? If you're doing a character and you can do a couple of lines, great. But if you have to remain in that character for an hour, 2 hours, for an entire session, can you do it? Do you have that kind of wherewithal and oomph and ability to bring that person to life? And, for me, it's natural. I was, 5 years old and I watched every Bugs Bunny cartoon, every Warner Brothers cartoon, Johnny Quest, all the Hanna-Barbera stuff, all those cartoons I love. Deputy Docg, Quick Draw McGraw, Alvin and the Chipmunks. I mean, Banana Splits. I watched everything. And as I started to get older, I realized that I could imitate them. And then when I became a teenager and I was, 13, 14, I found my voice dropped. And now I could imitate some celebrities. So I would, entertain my friends doing Charlton Heston and Planet of the Apes, or, a million different things. Batman from the Adam West series, all that stuff. And I fell in love with it. I fell in love with being able to do impressions and impersonations and, getting a laugh. There's nothing better than instant feedback when you're doing it in front of a group. It's just fun to go out there and do fun stuff and do characters and have people laugh and enjoy it. So it's all good.
So what was it like for growing up in your when you were growing up? I mean, I understand all the TV and stuff because it influenced me. I used to do certain things too. I don't even know if I could do them anymore because my voice got lower. But
As you age, your voice will get
yeah,
lower and register, but that's a good thing if you want to do an announcer style voice. However, today, every time I get an audition in, it'll say nothing too slick or polished commercially or
you want it
announcer
raw,
the
more raw.
while. Here's the thing. I grew up with some of the best announcers ever in television and radio. Guys like Jackson Beck, Paul Frees. Those guys they had a big, booming, exceptional voice. And I miss exceptional voices in commercial advertising today. Recently with the COVID thing, I was hearing a lot of people that didn't sound like they had any training at all. It was like, "Hey Frank, can you do a voiceover? I never did one before. Yeah, it's cool." And
Here's your chance.
they come in and they do a commercial, and you're going, and I still hear that, especially on streaming channels. I'll hear these awful commercials with poorly read. The audio quality is awful. I mean, you hear the booming echo of the reverb, and I'm like, what's going on? Does nobody have any quality control? Or it's not that hard to get a quality voiceover. But anyhow, I grew up with the greatest guys, and I love them, and I always will. And whenever somebody says something not too announcery, I want to whack them in the face and go, "Those guys were the greatest. What are you talking about?" But I am hearing a shift now. I'm hearing more sort of deeper male voices coming back, especially in car commercials and things where during the pandemic, you were hearing a lot of 18-year-old girls doing Ford Bronco commercials. It didn't make any sense. It doesn't fly. It's got to be suited to the material, and that wasn't. So, but I'm glad that there's a shift happening now. I'm sensing it, and hopefully some of those exceptional voices from the past will be kind of brought back. So
the shifts, there's always a shift, right? I mean,
always, it's like the surface of the ocean. It's always in motion, going up and going down. And you have to pay attention to know what's happening out there, and then sort of tailor your voice to that sound. And, it's a matter of paying attention to the market and to the medium and learning your craft. So there you go.
it's the curve that we all need to understand, especially in the entertainment industry. It constantly changes. Whether it's good or bad, it's what it is.
It is, and if you're paying attention, you can kind of ride that surfboard and figure it out. If you're not paying attention, you may find that you're not getting the auditions, you're not getting work. I've had people that were in the business a long time contact me and say, "I don't get it. What am I doing wrong? I'm doing the same thing I always did." And I would just tell them, it's not you, it's the medium has changed, and you've got to be aware of it and kind of adapt. And if you can't, you're going to be a dinosaur and you'll die off. So don't be a dinosaur, learn and adapt and evolve. That's what you got to do.
Oh yeah, I agree. And also not only with that, add to that to your attitude. It's I know it's important, because if your attitude is not there, or you have an ego that's beyond egos, they don't want you. I know that for a fact.
Yeah, again, working with somebody that's difficult is unpleasant. It gets to the point where you don't want to have them do anything because they're difficult to work with. Now, they may be talented, but there are other people that are talented as well. And if you could find somebody that's pleasant to work with, again, a problem solver, not a problem, that's critical to your long-term career. That can help build your career, build clients, and all that's sustainable. That's good. But if you're a douche and you're being kind of difficult, that's not the way to go.
Very true. So what happens? Let me take now. Your voice is your tool, right? It's your tool to whether a plumber has a tool, it's your tool to get what you do. So if your voice is sticky or you have a hard time with it, how do you deal with it? Do you have a special regimen? Do you take care of your voice? I have a good friend, her name's Beverly Brimmer. She's from the 70s. She's a great person, great musician, great artist. and she knows everybody in the industry. And she said to me, she said, the only thing I do is try to take care of my voice because that is my single way into everything. If my voice is gone, I can't do anything. I can't sing. I can't perform. I can't do the voice coaching. I can't do this. I can't do that. So what do you do to keep it in proper shape?
Really, I am a freak of nature. I mean, I can scream, I can yell, I can really wreck my voice, and yet I can come back and still do it.
Wow.
The only time I have any difficulty is if I'm sick, if I have like a cold or the flu and my voice
Right.
changes. Like right now, I'm a little nasally. I have a little bit something going on, but I'm still able to work. If it were really bad, that would be the only thing that would hold me back. Otherwise, uh, I'm a hired gun. You pay me, I come in, I do what I do, and whether I'm sick or I'm under the weather, I'm not 100%. I bring my A game and I knock it out because that's what I got to do.
Wow,
So
you're incredible. I mean, because like I said, there's a lot of people I know that you're almost like inhuman. I'll tell you, there's a lot of people that say, I can't do it today. My voice is gone. I can't perform.
yeah, I mean that can happen, and if it does, I try to schedule it far enough out that I
Right.
can redo it or something. But most of the time, you know, it's like if you're a coal miner and you're not feeling it that day, your family's not going to eat. You got to go shovel coal. That's what I do. If I'm just under the weather but I got a gig, I'm going to go and do it, and I'll make sure that I do it properly. So, part of it is your professionalism. How much are you willing to give? For me, I am a voice actor. That's what I do. It's all I do, and I take pride in that. And so, nothing's going to hold me back outside of, maybe a bullet in the brain or something. But otherwise, I'm doing my gig. You show me where the microphone is, give me some headphones, and I'm ready to go.
Awesome. And a couple of my friends and visitors want to know if you were able to put your podcast on another platform, would you do that? Like, would you put it on Hamilton Radio? Because I think they're asking for me. They know that I'd like to get your podcast here.
I had another gentleman approach me recently about putting it on the radio. I don't know. I mean, right now it's streaming, and you can find it pretty much on every platform. We really don't have too much difficulty. We get pretty good numbers, and it's been around for about 3 years, and I'm going to continue to do it. I
Oh,
don't
good.
know. Yeah, another format might be good. I'm not sure, but you never can tell.
Well, Rick, you know the industry the way it is. I'll just put it this way. We just started a show about 2 months ago with a lady that's been in the business for 40 years. She's a musician out of Pennsylvania. Great lady, Sue Bloom. And she said, and we've talked about it, that we don't know where this is going to go. You don't know until you actually do it where it's going to go. But this is a whole new show. This is not, something that's already pre-done. So she started doing it, getting a couple acts. Now she's got sponsors. Now she's got, now she's got her show exclusively on Hamilton Radio, and other places want her. It's just almost like where you are. You're here and you want to be here. But I always say this to this as a musician. When you do what you do, whether it's voice acting, music, entertainment, in however form it is, your idea is you want to be everywhere you can be, you want to be, because you want your people to know about your podcast. You want people to hear.
Yeah.
A lot of people may not go to Apple. A lot of people don't like YouTube. A lot of people are, because of commercials and ads.
True.
It's just the way you got to think about it. Does it hurt to do it? No. Will it help? Maybe. And if it does, is that help going to be even more beneficial to you? Well, the answer is probably yes, because not only because of our credibility, because I've been around for so long, but I don't just take any podcast and throw it up there. I try to maneuver it like the podcasts that are important to me, the things that you can learn from me and other people that talk when they're on the radio, like you do and what you do, that's going to be more beneficial to you. And remember this, when you give your information out, even here and even on your podcast, people will also go to your website, check it out, maybe listen to a few podcasts. But I found that it's easier for people just to listen to the radio, and what flows into them, they love it because they don't have to do nothing. You sit back. Oh, Rick Seller's broadcast is on next. Let's
Right.
sit back. Let's listen. We don't got to do nothing. It's like the old TV. I don't want to get up and change the channel type of thing.
Very true. There are a lot of older people that don't know what a podcast is or
There
how
you
to
go.
get it. I would say probably anybody over 60. It's unless they're very hip and they're kind of with it, or you have grandkids that go, Grandpa, here's what you do. Oh, I didn't know. Now I do. So yeah, it's technology can be wonderful, but it can be intimidating too. And the radio is easy. You turn the knob, it comes on, and there you go. So,
I
people have
think
been talking about the people have been talking for years about the death of terrestrial radio. I would say it's not dying, it's changing, and it'll find a way and a path. It's still easy, it's free, you turn it on, and there you go. So,
we're the same way. But here's the thing: terrestrial radio is owned by corporations.
yep,
Radios like mine are owned by people that are not super big corporations that just care about the content and want to make sure that people get heard. That's it. There's the difference right there. When you get a musician that reaches out to me and says, hey, I play with Alan Parsons, I play with Elton John, I play with it, I can't get my music played. I'm like, what? How is that possible? And of course, it's David Payton from the band, Pilot. But I said, David, I interviewed David. I said, David, how is it you can't get played? People know of the music. No, he said they know of Elton John's music. They know of Alan Parsons' music. They
right.
know of this and they know of that. They don't know who I am. I'm just a session musician in the background making all this great music, but nobody knows me. I'm
Yeah.
like, good point. Good point. So what happens? They become an independent musician.
Well, it's
same point.
important to learn how to promote yourself. I would take advantage of all social media. It's free. So have a Twitter account, have a Instagram account, have a Facebook account, get a YouTube thing. All that feeds into the stream. So you have these little tiny streams feeding into a bigger lake or ocean or whatever. But that's part of promotion. You've got to get on there regularly. You've got to promote yourself. Who are you? What do you do? How do I get a hold of you? All that is critical to your success as a voice talent or in any field, really. You've just got to get out there and let people know how to get a hold of you and make it easy, make it fun and friendly.
Well, what do you see as far as technology? I know we went from digital, we're going to the digital end of the digital now, but remember this now, we're going into AI, which is going to play a big part because I've already went through this with a couple of people. Oh, you need something done? Just go to AI and he'll do it for you.
Well, artificial intelligence is a great tool, but I would still say I haven't heard, at least for voice, I have not heard anything that really can bring the emotion and the impact and the drama of a human voice actor. There's just so far. Now it'll improve and eventually they'll be able to do an algorithm and say, add 10% more saccharine sweet or add 20% more humor. But that's probably 5-10 years away. So, who knows? It's definitely going to change. That's the one constant in the whole universe is that everything changes. So it's like, again, like being on the surfboard. You got to be able to see the wave coming and get ready and kind of hunker down and ride the wave. So that's it.
So you think that you might be doing more promotions, say for Roku or I know what you've done it for the general and all that other stuff, but you take all people, it doesn't matter. Say my friend John Taffer from Bar Rescue contacts me, say, hey Rick, I'd like you to do a promo for me for Bar Rescue and doing a certain thing. Would you do that for them?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. You can deal. I have 3 agents that I work with, or you can deal with me directly.
I'd rather deal with you directly only because it's just you and them.
Yeah, it's easier for one thing, I'm not going to charge you an arm and a leg. I mean, I'm going to charge a professional rate, but
Right.
And it's easy to work with me. I'm very easy, very kind of directable. So, and you can do it over Zoom, you can do it over Source Connect, however they want to do it. It's very easy. And you can go to my website. It's richardsellers.com. You can see all the commercial work I've done, all the products and services, find out about the podcast, about demo production, the whole bit. So I would say go check. I also do VO coaching for people one-on-one through Zoom. So if you're an aspiring voice actor or even a seasoned pro and you want a different perspective, reach out to me and I'll hook you up and we can do a coaching session for an hour. And it's fun.
That's what I wanted to ask you about, because a guy like me that, I do voiceovers as well, but I mean, I'm still learning the craft as well, because I mean, it is changing. My voice is changing. I have a guy that actually works with me. He does over 100 different character voices, and he could be very useful, not only for my business, but a lot of other people's businesses, like you said,
Sure.
because you can't always get the voice actors that you want the character from. So how would you work with a guy like me? Say, just start out from a day one. How would you work with me? Would you just like start out with like, I don't know anything, or because it comes on as far as, does it depend on your experience level?
It does. What I would do is do a pre-interview with you either on the phone or via Zoom, and I would find out your level of experience, what you've done, what you haven't done, and what your base is. Are you from radio? Or are you from television? Or do you want to get into it? And that way I can kind of make it a good assessment of what to do with you. And then it also depends on what you want to do. If you want to do commercial advertising, I would say, great, we'll book you 4 sessions and you'll train doing copy for commercials.
Right.
And I'll kind of walk you through it. You'll do it. We'll work on it together. And then when we're finished, you'll record it on your own and send it to me and I'll review it and hit you back with notes indicating what you did right, what you did wrong, maybe where you need some improvement, that sort of thing. So I enjoy coaching. I did a session today with a gal for audiobooks, because audiobooks is another big area for voice actors to work in. And she wanted to do kids books. So, we trained doing children's books and practicing doing character voices and that sort of thing. So yeah, I love it. It's something different for everybody, depending on what they want to learn. And I've done pretty much everything. So I have a base knowledge of all of those different genres. And, it's just fun. I love it. It's good stuff.
Well, that's something else that we've gotten into as well as audiobooks.
Yeah.
And like you said, you float with the surfboard. You go wherever you think it's going to be, successful. And or if all the places are successful, that's wonderful. So if I wanted to do that, how do I book you? What do I do? And what's the procedure? And and of course, is there a cost, or does it depend on, like, is it 30 minutes or 60 minutes?
Each class is an hour long. It's all via Zoom, and it depends on what you want to learn. It's $150 per hour for class. If you book 4, you can get them for $550 as opposed to $600. So you get a $50 break. And I'm pretty attentive. I'll work with you and to get you to the point where you can make money. And that's really what it's all about. At the end of the day, it's a voiceover business. So you want to have fun and you want to work on cool projects, but you also got to make money. Otherwise, you're going to have trouble paying your electric bill, and that's bad.
Well,
So,
again, it's about, right, and you'll agree with this. It's about expression. It's about what you put into the character. It's how people retrieve the character. It's how you sound with the character.
right. There's a lot of different steps involved in it. People think, oh, it's easy. I have a good voice. I'll walk up to the microphone and make money. There's 1,000 people with good voices. They all want to make money too. And unless you're really top notch and really good at what you do, you're probably not going to make it. So study hard, practice, practice, practice. The old, adage, practice makes perfect. That is absolutely true. Practice, read out loud all the time. Grab a newspaper, grab a magazine article, stand in front of the mirror, read it out loud. And any word that trips you up or catches you off guard, spend a little extra time on it so that you can really do it. So when you walk into the booth to read that copy, you're good to go. Always practice your script more than, I would say, 10 times till you're really proficient at it and know it almost verbatim. And a lot of people don't want to put that time into it, but it really does make a difference.
Wow. Well, we're approaching our time for an hour, but I gotta, wow, what a interview this was. I mean, I appreciate you being yourself and being the characters within you too, and expressing all the information. So again, how do people contact you? How do they get a hold of you for either voice or
You can
advertising?
yeah, if you're interested in booking me for a job or for coaching, you can email me at ricksvoice@aol.com. I still have my AOL account. So it's Rick, one word, Rick's Voice at AOL.com. And then just ask me what you would like to know or what you would like to do. And I'll email you back and we'll have a little back and forth and figure out where you need to be and what you want to do.
I
Okay.
have one other question and I'm going to let you go.
Sure.
Would you also place people? In other words, they're saying if you have somebody that looking for something like what you can do or like what I can do, would you place them in a position where they have to audition? Could you do
Yeah,
that?
I do. I help several companies cast talent.
Oh,
So
that's beautiful.
they'll reach out to me and say, we need a guy that can do a Rodney Dangerfield. Can you give us 10 auditions from various talent? I reach out to the talent pool that I have, which is extensive. It's all over the country. And I find the guys that I think are going to be suitable. They'll send me their audition. I submit it to the client. The client will pick who they like. And then I will contact that person and tell them, you got the gig. Here's what it pays. You get paid through PayPal. I pay you immediately. So once you turn the files over to me and the client is happy, you get paid. It's a real pleasurable way to work. You don't have to wait 30, 60, 90 days, all that crazy stuff.
I
So
love it. I love it.
yeah. And I
All
love
right.
casting too. It's fun.
What's that? You love casting too?
I do. Yeah, it's fun. It's fun to hear other people's takes on a character, and then, and I'll submit my own as well. So I'll be competing with you, but the people that I'm going to go to are, a lot of them are go-to people. They're really good, and I know they can do it. So, but
And
I
they
like to bring
depend
new
on you.
people.
And
Yeah, I
they
like to bring
depend
new
on you
people.
as well. Good.
Yeah, I like to bring new people in as well because you got to keep it fresh. If you're only submitting the same 10 guys over and over again, people get bored. They want to hear new voices as well. And so, and I book a lot of kids for various projects. I just booked a kid for uh, an audiobook called Honk Honk a Shoe it's a child's audiobook. And the main character is a big pillow headed character. And he's Honk. And I booked Grayson Lee, who is, I think, 9. And he did a terrific job. So, I directed him in the session and it was perfect. Very
Well,
good.
well, Rick, thank you so much for that. And if you can just do one favor for me, if not, that's fine too. Just basically say who you are and say you're listening to Hamilton Radio, and then I'll put that if we do play your podcast.
Okay. Hi, this is Rick Sellers, voice actor, and you've been listening to Gene on Hamilton Radio.
Thank you so much, Rick. And I'll be in touch with you. I'm going to talk to the wife tonight about it because I think this is another endeavor that I should pursue, especially since I used to do all the comic voices in the 70s.
Okay, very good. All right, my friend.
Thank
Have
you
a
so
wonderful
much.
day.
It
I'll
was
see you.
wonderful having you. Have a good night. Thank you.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye.